Blue here. As I'm sure you all know, I love manga. What better way to talk about manga than a video where I'm talking about my favorite manga authors, otherwise known as a mangaka. I'll be doing a top 5 video solely for this because I want to focus on 5 authors that I absolutely love. Roll the intro, and let's get started. At number 5, we have Junji Ito. Obviously, I have to put the master of horror himself. While I haven't read all of his work yet, I do genuinely think he is a really great horror author. I mean, I think we all agree our first reaction to reading one of his manga is definitely one that almost traumatizes us as teenagers. For me, that was the Enigma of Amigara Fault, which absolutely horrified me as a 14-year-old teenager just browsing Tumblr. Well, I don't know if it counts as a fear or what, but seeing bodies contorted in a horrifying way is just absolutely terrifying to me, and Junji Ito's manga really knows how to do that. Not to mention, watching him draw is just incredible considering he does this all with a regular ballpoint pen. I also love his manga about being a cat owner because that one was just a big old mood. Overall, genuinely brilliant horror author, and it's kind of sad to see that he's the only horror author I know of off the top of my head that can genuinely write manga that scares the living pants off of me. At number 4, we have Yana Toboso. Yana Toboso. One thing I love is when a manga author goes through drastic changes in art style. While her art and storytelling definitely used to look like a very shitty doujinshi, and sometimes doujin writers could genuinely copy her art style without much of a difference, which is kinda terrifying, she has a vastly improved one that I'm so proud of. She used to draw Sebastian like a standard yaoi doujin character to a fine butler that I would not mind doing what he did to Beast if you catch my drift. In all honesty though, Yana has improved immensely in her art style that I love it. Her storytelling has also gotten better too. She started slowly to try and draw more characters historically accurate as well, as she tries to read more historical accounts of the period and other famous works like Dorian Gray that help inspire her work. Reading her thought process behind why a certain character looks like that or is designed a certain way, and looking at her concept art and looking at her sketches is just fascinating to look at. People will undoubtedly complain Yana is basic, but I just love how crisp and fine-tuned her art is now, and her writing, since before she used to not be very good. I don't know, I just really love seeing a manga author improve as the story goes on. At number 3, we have Hirohiko Araki. I have a slight love-hate relationship with Araki. Also, I'm a huge JoJo weeb now, if you couldn't tell from how often I put Eyes of Heaven gameplay and my constant liking of Diego Brando and Kakyoin posts on my Twitter. What can I say? JoJo's is amazing. While I love the series a lot, especially parts 4 and 7, I do have my gripes about Araki and his writing inconsistencies. Not the whole Araki forgot meme, as that's something I notice dumb people say when they don't want to personally pay attention, but rather things like clearly writing things in last minute, or writing A and B but making stuff up as he goes along to a point where B is not a viable ending anymore, but it feels like he kinda did an ass pull to force B's ending to still work. Obviously it's not enough where I dislike JoJo's or something, clearly that's not the fucking case here. Just one gripe really. Though the most fascinating thing about Araki is watching him improve with every artwork. From going to swole bootleg Fists of the North Star to absolutely gorgeous models I would smooch without any hesitation. The man's improvement is something I admire immensely. Like I said with Yana Toboso, I genuinely love when artists improve on their writing and art throughout the series and the years. And Hirohiko Araki is one of those that ticks those boxes. At number 2, we have Kentaro Miura. Despite the man's addiction to Idolmaster, which has only made his major manga take 30 fucking years to finish, the man is a brilliant artist, and that's something you can definitely appreciate. His storytelling is also very groundbreaking for the time at which Berserk was released. Although there were very dark manga in the late 80s and early 90s, Berserk's was a very unique type of dark. This wasn't big burly men punching each other or teenagers turning into devilmen to fight other devilmen. This horror was Guts and Casca basically dealing with PTSD and trying to rebuild what they lost. Reading recent chapters in particular, now that we're out of the bullshit zone of seeing what Griffith is up to or whatever, are just absolutely fascinating. While his art has morphed into something more magical, akin to a fairy tale illustration rather than a detailed dark manga, it's still absolutely gorgeous to look at. The way everything is so textured and the way the berserker armor and the dragon is drawn is still absolutely awe-inspiring. It's no wonder Dark Souls took such heavy inspiration from Berserk. The man may be the king of procrastination, but when he makes something, it genuinely looks amazing and is drawn incredibly. That's why I get so salty over Berserk 2016 and the abomination of its sequel. It's just so disrespectful to the carefully crafted story Miura has spent 30 fucking years writing that you have to wonder how he approved of it. I just hope that someday there will be a proper adaptation of Berserk that was just as good as the movies or the 1997 series. I heard the team behind Castlevania really wants to make a Berserk adaptation, so I say let them because they clearly know what they're doing. Also, he designed Gakupo, which is my favorite Vocaloid, so overall, a brilliant manga author in my eyes. Before I get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. These are mangaka that are really great. Either they're more fitted for a top 10, or they've written only one short series that it's hard to figure out the future for them. Asano Inio. I've only really read Oyasumi Punpun, but this guy is just a brilliant artist and really does an incredible job at shining a light on the darker side of growing up and going through early adulthood. If you haven't read Oyasumi Punpun, I highly recommend it. Natsuki Takaya. As much as Fruits Basket genuinely means a lot to me as an anime and manga, with the manga definitely making me cry on more than one occasion when I first read it, I'm only putting her here in honorable mentions as I've read Fruits Basket and its sequel Fruits Basket Another. While I personally think Fruits Basket is her magnum opus, Fruits Basket Another just wasn't as enjoyable. Though I do appreciate her drastic shift in art style because I'll be honest, her old art style needed some major work done. Yazawa Ai. Although her art style is often mixed with me, in my opinion, I can't deny she's a very talented person at making unique and grounded shoujo anime that gear towards more young women in their early 20s like myself. Even though her art style is not always my favorite, there's something extremely unique about it. It's definitely a symbol of the early 2000s, much like looking at an illustration of a Bratz or My Scene, and I definitely appreciate it. She also designed Nana Osaki, who's absolutely a fashion icon in my eyes, and I hope someday I can dress like her in the future, cause damn, she had some awesome looks. And now to number 1, the moment you've all been waiting for. Number 1, Sakamoto Shinichi. To think I found out about this author through a random roleplay blog on Tumblr. This author is absolutely incredible. Never have I seen work so gorgeously illustrated and that uniquely written series to date known as Innocent. Now, he has written another critically acclaimed manga that's also beautifully drawn called The Climber, about a mountain climber experiencing a newfound sense of appreciation for life and all the symbolism that comes with climbing a mountain, I guess. Innocent to me is definitely one of his magnum opus. While there were some moments that made me feel uncomfortable or grossed out, which was honestly probably the point considering this is a story about executioners, he is still a brilliant writer and I can't deny that. Even when he shoves way too much historical context for a reader to digest, it's still amazing. The symbolism in particular is so absolutely unique. My biggest example is a scene near the end where Marie tells Marie Antoinette that she'll let her visit her daughter if she accepts humility and drinks the dirty water the middle and lower class citizens of Paris have to drink, but rather than do so, she spits it out and throws it back up while saying she refuses to be so, quote, filthy like that. This symbolism is portrayed from Marie's point of view, where she's disguised as a cutesy shoujo girl where zombies take over the school, showing that she sees the people of Paris more like disgusting corpses rather than actual people. Marie in this shoujo fantasy tells her that she has to accept this reality now, and instead of doing so, she dramatically jumps off the roof to deny that the world around her is imperfect, so she can die in the fantasy that she's a pretty princess in a perfect world. The way it was told and explained is just brilliant. I don't think I've seen a manga take that kind of approach to symbolism where it could even blur the lines of reality, ever, really. Watching him draw is just so inspiring. I follow him on both Instagram and Twitter, so watching him just draw is incredible. Though that can be said for any of the people on this list. Fun fact, by the way, he's making a manga version of the book Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I am absolutely excited for. While I doubt he'll take inspiration from the movie, despite the fact that screenshots from the film were shown on his Instagram at some point, and Bram Stoker's Dracula is one of my favorite films of all time, it is still a story I absolutely love, and I genuinely can't wait for him to drop this manga because you bet your ass it'll be another favorite manga of mine. That's it for this video though. Who's your favorite manga author? Was it anyone on this list? Let me know down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching! If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new. And if any older new subs would like to help support the channel in any possible way, my Ko-fi page is down below in the description along with all of my social media. For any subscribers, new or old, who would like to help with video ideas or maybe just want to talk about anime or something, then I have a fan server linked down below. See you next time!